Hey there, it's Ed. Today we're going to show you how you can fix a Frigidaire refrigerator that's not cooling at all and has a compressor that's not running. There are several possible causes for this problem. They could range from faulty control board or a thermistor to a bad start device, or even a compressor that's seen better days. Let's work together so we can identify and fix this issue. Before we get started, hit those like and subscribe buttons if you want to join our do-it-yourself repair community and get notified each time we post a new video guide. With over 2 million products in stock and the know-how to help you do it yourself, we are AppliancePartsPros.com. Let's get our tools together. Today we'll need a 1/4-inch nut driver and a multimeter. And please remember that safety comes first. Always remember to disconnect your refrigerator by unplugging it or switching the breaker off. The first thing we're going to check is the control board, which is a common reason why the refrigerator isn't cooling. The board supplies power to the start device of the compressor, and if the board is faulty, then it won't send the right amount of voltage to the start device. To access the control board, open the refrigerator door and take out the filter. At the back of the refrigerator at the top, you should see a 1/4-inch screw on the right side behind where the filter is located. Remove this screw, then drop the cover down. There will be 2 1/4-inch screws on the corner of the left side that are recessed in. Remove both of them. We need to remove the 3 1/4-inch screws under the control panel. These will be recessed into the panel. Next, remove the 1/4-inch screw under the cover at the back of where the filter would be. Once all the screws have been removed, you should be able to drop the control housing down so you can access the control board. You'll need to remove this clear plastic piece, which is called a light pipe. Then pull the front of the control housing to release the control board. We have the power on during disassembly, so you can see what we are doing, but you should have it unplugged when you do it yourself. Before we test the board, we need to plug the fridge back in or switch the breaker back on. We'll be checking live voltage during this test, so please remember to be very careful here. Always take extreme care when checking live voltage so you can protect yourself from electrical shock, which has the potential to cause serious injuries. Please don't ever test live voltage if you're uncomfortable using a multimeter. If you're uncomfortable dealing with live voltage, please stop and call someone who can do this testing for you. Once you're ready, we can test the control board for AC voltage. First, find the P1 connector on the board. Then find the red wire and the light blue wire. These will be pins 1 and pin 11. You're going to place one lead on the red wire and the other lead on the light blue wire. You should get 120 volts AC on your multimeter here. If you see 120 volts AC, then we need to check the start device. If you didn't get 120 volts AC to the control board, then you'll need to check the thermistor. If the thermistor is good, then that means the control board is faulty and needs to be replaced. Since we already have the control panel down and have access to the thermistor, we'll go ahead and check it next. A bad thermistor can cause the control board to think that the temperature is correct when it's really not, and prevent the compressor from turning on. We need to test the refrigerator thermistor for resistance. Just set your multimeter to the resistance setting, which looks like an upside-down horseshoe. Then disconnect the thermistor harness and place 1 meter lead into one side of the connector, then one on the other side. At room temperature, you should have a resistance reading of 10 ohms. If the resistance is bad, then the thermistor needs to be replaced. If the resistance is good, then the thermistor is good and something else is causing the problem. Once you're done testing, be sure to plug the thermistor back in. To reassemble, first plug the control board back in. Then slide the control board back into place and lock it into the tabs. Then reinstall the light pipe. We need to put the control housing back on the ceiling and install the 3 1/4-inch screws that hold the housing in place. Then install the 2 1/4-inch screws in the side panel at the upper left-hand side. Install a single 1/4-inch screw behind the water filter. Now you can put the cover back over the tubing, and once you install the 1/4-inch screw that holds it in place, you're done. The start device is what is used to start the compressor. In most cases, when a fridge isn't cooling, the compressor may come on for a few seconds, then click right back off. It'll continue to do this because the compressor isn't actually starting. Let's check the start device on this unit. To access the compressor and start device, you'll need to pull the refrigerator out and remove the 4 1/4-inch screws that hold the lower cover on. Once you have the rear cover off, you can see the compressor on the right side. You need to set your multimeter to volts AC and then find the red and blue wire on the start device. You'll need to unplug it to test. Put one lead to the red wire and one lead to the blue wire. You're going to want to see 120 volts AC at these points. If there's 120 volts AC to the start device, then you're going to want to check the compressor winding to make sure that the compressor isn't the problem. The compressor is the heart and soul of your refrigerator. If the compressor isn't running, then the fridge won't be able to pump the refrigerant through the system. To test the compressor, you'll need to do a resistance test on the pins. Go ahead and unplug your fridge for this test. Then set your multimeter to resistance. Now we can remove the start device by undoing the metal clip holding it on and unplugging it. You need to go from the common pin to each of the other pins. Write down the numbers you get from these readings. Then, go across the run and start winding pins. You need to add the 2 numbers that came from the first reading together. It should match or come close to the reading across the run and start winding. You're also going to want to test the compressor to make sure it's not grounded. You can do this by setting your multimeter for continuity. Then go from each of the pins on the compressor to the chassis ground. If you get continuity on any of these pins, then the compressor is grounded and needs to be replaced. If you saw 120 volts AC going to the start device and the compressor passed all tests, then this would mean you have a faulty start device, which would need to be replaced. If you got 120 volts AC to the start device but the compressor failed testing, then the compressor would need to be replaced. Since you can't replace the compressor yourself, you'll have to contact an EPA certified technician to replace it. As you can see here on our machine, this start device is receiving 120 volts AC and the compressor is passing all tests, which means that our start device is faulty and needs to be replaced. Since we found out that our start device is faulty on this fridge, we're going to go ahead and show you how to replace it in case you find out that your unit has the same problem. To remove the start device, start by unplugging the wire connector. You'll need to find the wire clip over the start device that holds it to the compressor. You're going to remove this from the compressor, then pull the start device off. With the start device out, we can pull the capacitor off of it so we can install it on the new part. Once you have your new start device, you can install it by first plugging it into the compressor. Now you can plug the wiring harness back into the new device. If there was a wire clip, reinstall it here. Now you can put the lower access cover back on, and once you insert the 4 1/4-inch screws, you're done. Then plug your refrigerator back in and slide the refrigerator back into place. Once you have found the faulty part, whether it's a new start device or something else, grab your model number and head over to appliancepartspros.com to order a replacement, which should arrive in just a few days. After you get your new part, we'll walk you through the installation process with our video guides. Make sure to share your repair experience with us by leaving a comment below. And if this video helped you, hit the like and subscribe buttons to see more videos like this. Thank you for your support.